Well, I'm here again with another remake, and an amazing one at that. Yep, Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
It's me, Mario!
So it is the trend of 2020 to be doing remakes, and like I've said many times, some are good, some aren't so good, but here we are with an absolute gem. We're talking about three of some of the most iconic Mario titles of all time. We got a remake of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. So starting things off, I think this is pretty cool because this kind of takes me back to the 90s when Super Mario All-Stars came to the Super Nintendo, and it was great because you could play the old Nintendo games on your Super Nintendo as well as Super Mario World. So getting a remaster of these three games is absolutely a must-have. Now, I'm not going to give you a thorough review of each of the games because this is all in all a wicked package. I got my hands on all three of the games for a number of hours, and I could say that my time through was almost perfect. I had really no issues, only a couple issues that I'll mention a little bit later, but nothing detrimental. The game is almost a perfect remaster. Of course, I first off had to start with Super Mario 64, one of my first and favorite Mario games. First Mario game that I really dove into anyway. But getting my hands on it, it was all the same twerks and funny kinks that we remember from the 90s. I think they did it perfectly. The camera angles are all still there. The controls are perfectly welded to the Switch. I think it is great. Now, one thing that I did say that I kind of had an issue with is that you can't actually invert your camera at any point. In all three of the games, you cannot do it. Now, in Super Mario 64, this isn't as much of an issue because you're only really aiming with the camera and a little bit of first-person perspective. But when it comes to Super Mario Sunshine and a little bit of Galaxy, there's a lot of times where you're kind of set on aiming. And for me, I know I'm a very rare entity, but I play inverted, so this is actually really frustrating. Super Mario 64, and I mean the N64 was kind of built on that inverted setting way back in the day, and that's kind of where I learned from it a bit. So it's a little bit cheeky to not see that in the game, but I know I'm kind of alone on this. And I must say, if there's one other thing that I can complain about, and it's really not a super big deal, but in Super Mario Galaxy, you are at 60 frames per second the entire game, but in the first two, you only get 30 frames per second. Now, like I said, this doesn't completely alter your experience, but when you hop on Super Mario Galaxy, you really notice the difference, and I found it really added to the experience. Now, those couple things aside, this experience is a must-grab. If you're a fan of these games, or a new fan to Mario, you absolutely need to play these games. These are some of the staples of gaming from back in the day, and playing them now, they're absolutely just as much fun. So if I was gonna score this game, it's kind of tricky because I'm that inverted player, and the 30 frames per second on the first two games could have, was a little bit of a misstep, but I'm gonna have to give this one still an 8.5. This game is a must grab. If you're a new or returning fan, you have to play this game for the Switch. Super Mario 3D All-Stars is a must-grab for all fans. Even if you're not a fan of Mario, this will absolutely hook you.